Back with the clothes, so we're just going to go right into it. I'm going to start with the shirt. So this is a linen white, kind of off-white sports shirt button up. Here's some key points. The collar, when you look at your shirts, you want either a spread or a semi-spread. Stay away from pointy. Pointy collars really are meant for ties, and if you're not the right body shape, it could make you look too tall or too small because the point on the collar will actually go downwards. So if you have a small head, it's going to look smaller. My head isn't that big. The other thing I want to point out, obviously you want your stuff pressed. So I went ahead and ironed it. This is a linen, so it's okay if it's not completely pressed because linen does tend to wrinkle pretty quickly. So just do the best you can. And we're going to put this one on and talk about how it goes. Just want to show a quick detail before I do though. So this shirt here, I customized it from tailorforless.com. They do a pretty good job. They're made to measure. So if you are odd size like me, where I have a 36, 37 arm length, but a 16 neck, it's very difficult to find good shirts. So you could pay a high price um, and get something off the rack, like a Men's Warehouse, which has a great selection for 16, 36 by 37. But for that price, you might be better off just getting a made to measure shirt instead. I believe this costs around $60 or $70 back when I did it. But I'm sure that they would have promotions. What's unique about it though is that I added two buttons, and you'll see about that in a minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on and show you the fit. All right, so here's the fit on the shirt. So as we see here, I'm gonna go ahead and just put it like this so you can see the fit. When you wear a casual shirt, you want to typically have at the minimum the top one button. Some people like to do the top two buttons like this. It doesn't look bad, but for me, I don't have a I don't have a very built chest, and it shows a little too much. So I like to just have one. Plus, I have a long neck. I feel like if you have a long neck, you don't want to show too much skin because your neck will actually look longer. Think of it as a V-neck shirt. The deeper the V goes, the longer your neck looks. So if you have a short neck, it will look great to have two unbuttoned. But if you have a long neck, stick with one. It's going to look a little better. The next thing, the shoulders. The seam here in the shoulder, you want it to be parallel with your shoulder. More or less, pretty self-explanatory. You don't want it too high up. You don't want it too low down. You really want it just sitting on top. That's extremely important. Next, the fit on the body. You see here, when I'm pulling, there's not much room to get out of. So it contours smoothly across my body. The arms. A good rule of thumb is when you bend your arm up and down, you want the shirt to really end right there. So when you're casual, you can get away with having it a little shorter. Chances are you're probably going to roll up the sleeves anyways. What I'd like to do, going back to those buttons that I showed you earlier, I like to button just one of my buttons, like that. I don't know, I just think it looks really cool. It's a nice little, cool little feature. Just like that. See? Check that out. Looks cool. And the length. So on the length here, you want it to not cover your backside all the way. So this is the bottom of my backside right here. And you see it doesn't really cover it all the way through. If it covers it all the way, then you're in dress shirt category, and then it should be tucked in. It's a little longer, but it's fine. It will pass. It's like a half inch too long. I'll live with that. So, the general rule of thumb is you don't want it too long where it looks like a dress. You don't want it too short or it looks like it's just too short. And finally, finishing off the top, you want to have an accessory. The best thing to have is a watch. So, what's nice about my videos is that I'm not established. So a lot of my stuff is just things I bought in the past. And so what you'll see is that I don't have a lot of different brands, and hopefully this can motivate you to be like, you know what? I only got a certain things in my wardrobe and it works for me. So let me go ahead and use those items I have and make it work. So if you have a watch, go ahead and put it on because it's gonna look good. When you do the watch, remember to put it on your off hand. So what that means is if you're right-handed, you put it on your left hand. If you're left-handed, you put it in your right hand. The reason you want to do that is because you use that hand less. So it reduces the chance of your watch getting scratched. So that's it for the top. I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom next. And I'll get you guys when I get that on.